people value work-life balance in Australia. People have families, shops close at 5.
I feel really grateful to actually live in a country where you can prioritize your, work-life balance. I think because we live in the city as well, there are lots of job opportunities. Actually, something really interesting that I heard is that
Welcome to the Asian Soup Podcast.
This is your co-host Jules.
And this is your co-host Rox.
The Asian Soup Podcast is your cozy space on the internet where we share and discover real stories.
We chat about a range of topics from personal growth, mental health, TV shows, and much more.
Come sit with us
and get nourished.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. How's everyone doing?
Yeah, hopefully wherever you're listening from, you're in a cozy space, and welcome to join our little chat.
We're recording here from Sydney, and I think that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Yes, exactly. Our topic for today is around Sydney. It's our home. We've grown up here our whole lives, so we thought we're probably pretty, qualified to speak to it. So yeah, very excited.
I think so as well. We're very qualified, I think, to speak on this topic. We've been living here for 30 years. Okay, that just revealed both of our ages, but 30-something years. And I think speaking about, us both chatting about this topic might be a nice way to, zoom out, step back, and really appreciate the city for what it is.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah. Well, Rox, actually, before we get into the podcast topic, I actually have something really random to say because I just need to get it off my chest.
Yes. Sure. Julia had this random fact she wanted to share in the podcast, and I'm waiting for it, and this is the first moment she's sharing it with me.
Yes, that is correct. So I wanted to share it because, when we record, we look at ourselves on camera, when we're editing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's something I've been doing lately that I'm wondering, I wonder if it's going to change the way I look.
What?
Right? Okay,
what did you do?
Something I've been doing lately is this thing called MEWING. Have you heard of it?
No.
Oh, so you've never heard of
What's
it?
MEWING?
So MEWING is this technique where MEWING is this technique where you put your tongue on the roof of your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So if this is the roof of your mouth, you put your tongue completely on the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you don't let your tongue touch your teeth. And when you do that, it's meant to have this uplifting effect on your jaw, on your face.
Really? Is it working?
Yeah.
Is it working? Does it work?
Well, I've been doing it for maybe a week or two now. And honestly, in the beginning, my throat started hurting. Okay.
But how long do you need to do it for?
24/7. So I would sleep with it. I would wake up.
How do you control that when you're sleeping?
So before I sleep, I'll just put my tongue on the roof of my mouth, and then
but not touching your teeth.
Yeah, because apparently that can.
I'm trying to do it now.
It's hard. It's really, really hard and
Can
uncomfortable.
Can you see the difference right now when you do it?
No, it's not really an immediate change. It's after a while you notice it.
Okay.
And no joke, I think I look different.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have more of a jaw now?
I think I do.
That's a line?
That's why I wanted to flag it in this episode, because I want to see if I look different from this episode and the previous episode.
Does it help with the double chin thing?
Yes.
Because that's what is happening to me now in my early 30s.
You need to
fully, it's a thing. And sometimes I look at these videos and I'm like, whoa, what do you do about this?
MEWING.
MEWING? Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Duh.
And
okay.
No joke. Even Raido's my partner, he's you look really different.
Can you just move out
this
way for the mic? Because the mic's covering your face right now.
Okay, so for our audio listeners, I'm just going to show my face to Rox. Okay, be right back.
Something's different. I guess maybe. I don't know what's different.
But it's the MEWING.
Is it because it's you're straining it in a certain way that I get that when you put your tongue on your roof like that though, something is different. Like you're forcing your muscle to be that way.
Yeah, but it also does this like
Jaw thing
and the whole structure of your face changes. And you really need to see some of these mewing like before and after videos.
Oh my gosh, I need to see them right now. Can we pause? No, I'm joking.
Can I just show you?
Just show me some before and after photos.
Okay, I'm going to just jump onto Google.
Okay,
right
let's
now.
Google. And also, is this an Asian thing?
No, it's not.
No. Does it change the way you speak? No. Okay. You know who looks like they're mewing all the time?
Who?
Keira Knightley. And she has a great jaw thing.
Yeah.
She looks like she's
Probably.
mewing all the time.
Okay, have a look at this. So that's like 1 month. It's like, it helps with the double chin. But look at this guy.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? It's like the mewing, what it does, it's like it does this weird thing where it changes the structure of your face like that. Look at that.
So you just do it all the time when you're not speaking?
Mm-hmm. Now I'm just doing it all the time.
I wonder if you... So,
look,
but you have to be conscious though. Like you
So-
have to consciously do it.
So if you look like this,
Mm-hmm.
you can look like this.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Is this for real? Is it scientifically
Okay,
proven?
so
Okay,
this
wait,
is the
sorry.
thing.
This is such a segue.
This is a thing. Like it's not
Like-
scientifically proven.
What if people what if those people are just doing surgery?
It could be. Yeah, there's no science behind it. But you know what? I can see a difference. And you know what Ryder said? He actually said the ends of my mouth, it used to go down, like slant down. But he said now they slant up like this after
Well,
mewing.
and it also looks like you're smiling a bit more, like naturally.
It's the mewing. Okay, that's the random fact.
Raido doing it too?
Yeah, so he knew about it like ages ago.
Really?
And he was telling me about
You're
it.
like,
and I was
why
like,
didn't you tell me?
whatever.
Yeah.
No. I was like, as if that's going to work, blah, 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 blah. And then 3 months later, I'm like, have you heard of mewing? And I'm like, he's like, yeah, that's what I told you to do 3 months ago. So I'm a bit late. But now
Okay,
you
well,
can
thanks for sharing.
try.
Now I can do it.
Yeah. It's
I'm like doing it
seriously, like my throat was hurting. That was the weird part, like these muscles. But yeah, anyways, can talk about it forever.
now. I'm being really conscious about it, but I'll do it later.
Yeah, do it later. But yeah, that's my random fact.
Pretty good random fact. We can move on to the topic of the day, which is
Topic of the day: living in Sydney.
living in Sydney. What would you tell someone about Sydney if they have never been here before? How would you describe it to them?
Okay, so Sydney. To someone who's never been here, how would I describe Sydney? I would say Sydney is a very multicultural place. I would say Sydney is, we have nature, we have the city, we have the CBD, we have like beaches, forests, good cafes, and I'll just say it's a really nice place to just come and try a little bit of everything. And I'll definitely add in that we have good weather. How about you? Well, how would you describe Sydney to someone?
I agree with all of those things. I feel like if someone's never been here before, if they're Australian or not Australian, I think if you're visiting Australia, you'll probably need to fly into Sydney or Melbourne anyway. There's a lot to do here, like you said. Like, it's also a big city, so you get the city life and you get the nature. Sydney's quite a big and spread out city, like urban sprawl and suburban. Like, it gets very suburban, so there's all types of cultures, multicultural areas and food and all sorts of things to do. But it's hard to say because even though it's a big city, it's not Australia is really tiny compared to the rest of the world. So to us, it's a big city. But maybe if someone, say, if I'm describing it to someone who's from a bigger city overseas, I'd probably say that it's laid back, it's more chill. If I was describing it to like friends in Hong Kong, I'd definitely say people walk slower here. It's just a bit more relaxed wherever you're going. And yeah, it's very beautiful, I would say. Like, you know, the beaches are very beautiful. The food is really delicious. And I just love that it's a coastal city. I love most coastal cities, but I think Sydney being my home, I actually can't imagine or want to move in an inland city. Does that make sense? Because there's a lot of cities that are inland.
Yeah, right.
Overseas or wherever, like, even in Sydney, but
like Texas or like one of those, like,
like not a coastal city.
Yeah.
I just love that it's coastal. It's a city, and yeah, it's our home. So
yeah, it's funny how you say, like, you'll say have a different answer for different people.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, if you're describing Sydney to someone in another Australian city,
yeah, then it's really busy to them.
It's really busy.
Yeah.
You would say,
and it's fast paced for them.
Yeah, you would say like, oh, the parking's really bad here. The traffic's really bad.
The traffic's really bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone's like in the rat race, and like
you
would describe it differently, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, to someone in like Asia, you would be like, oh, all the shops close at 5.
Yeah. Everyone's at home.
Yeah.
You know, by 6 or 7.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about like working in Sydney? What do you think working in Sydney is like?
I reckon it depends on the industry you're in. I think it's pretty good working in Sydney. The downside about Australia maybe is the tax. The tax rate is a lot higher than, say, Hong Kong. But working in Sydney, I think the pace is pretty healthy. It's not too much where, well, it depends what you're doing, and it depends on your manager and your business. But in general, the culture, people value like work-life balance in Australia, I feel. Like people have families, people, you know, shops close at 5. No one's going to try and be at work till 10 p.m. Whereas if in Hong Kong, people are there for, you know, who knows what. Like, yeah, just the values are very different because people care about going to work out before or after work. They care about walking their dogs or, you know, it's just they have other stuff.
Yeah, like for our listeners, Rox lived in Hong Kong for 4 years.
I feel like I need to say that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So for context, I lived in Hong Kong for like almost 5 years before moving back last year. So I've worked in Sydney and Hong Kong, like both.
Yeah. Maybe share a little bit like what you do and what you did there, because like maybe that it could be also your role that made you realize like there's a difference in culture, or maybe, you know.
Yeah, okay. Well, in Hong Kong, I guess, yeah, like I said, it depends on your industry. But in Hong Kong, I was working at a fashion brand in digital e-commerce space. Right now, I'm also in digital e-commerce, and both roles were kind of project management kind of roles. So a lot of like campaign work, launching digital campaigns for like certain brands or that brand that I'd be working for. So Hong Kong's just super fast. It's just so fast that it's so easy to get things done there. Whereas here, I feel like it takes a while. Like if in Hong Kong I needed to print something, I could just go down the road and it's done in like 2 seconds. Whereas in Sydney, I need to order it, maybe drive to Officeworks, maybe put in, you know, need to wait 2 days. Like things here are just a lot slower in a different way. And, you know, people there, the culture is just about overtime. It's expected of you to overtime. It's almost like if you overtime more, you're more hardworking. So there's a lot of that around Asia, I think, in general. But in Australia, I don't think, luckily where I am now, I think people value it more. You know, if people are working past 6, it's like, oh, that's pretty bad, you know, or, you know, why aren't you, you know, off work or doing other things? So yeah, I guess that's the difference.
That is so nice that you have that culture, at least because it aligns with me. I'm saying it's nice.
Yeah.
But having someone be like, go live your life. It's, you know, you're outside of work hours now. Don't work.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That also comes down to, where we work or what we do, right, too, right? Because it's not the same for everyone.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah, working in Sydney, I think, because I can't really compare it with working in Asia, for example. So I feel like you have a really good answer because you've had those like 2 experiences. Why?
Yeah. No, sometimes I just worry that, oh, am I stereotyping working in Hong Kong? But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully not, but it's just my experience. But yeah.
Yeah, well, from what I hear, like from my cousins and like some friends who work in Korea, it sounds like I actually thought that the, you know, working overtime culture it's a thing of a past now. I actually thought that.
Love it. Yeah.
I actually thought that, you know, it's changed a lot there because it was quite similar in Korea. Like overtime was a thing. You got to listen to your superiors and all that. But from what I hear now, like only some companies might do that seriously. But most companies, they kind of just don't. Working overtime culture, it's more prominent.
Yeah.
Than the whole work from life balance.
Yeah. I would say like another thing about working in Sydney or in general Australia versus Hong Kong is the culture in the office as well. I think the Western way of working, people speak up more, and it's more, your voice is more valued here. Even though there is still hierarchy here, I think people value, you know, it's a democratic, you know, country. People value you speaking up, I think, which is nice here.
Yeah.
Because Australia also has a lot of regulations like fair work or, you know, fair trade. You can't just be an employer and get away with stuff. Whereas in Asia, depending on where you are, you could get away with some shit there.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
so true.
Yeah.
I love watching
Korean dramas.
A day in my life as a whatever job role type of YouTube videos. Especially in different cities, because I love seeing how other people work and you know
what they do,
what their day-to-day is like.
Yeah.
Is it full of meetings or is it full of, you know, doing tasks? Like, what is it? Especially like in different countries, like especially if it's like Germany or like somewhere in Europe. I'm like, oh, that's so interesting. Like that things are different there. So I guess like I compare it in that way. But from what I can experience, every company is different. But if you do want the work-life balance, you can get it in Sydney.
Yeah, you can.
You can get it. Like, you just have to find the right company for you. There are definitely companies that work overtime. Yeah. And that is the norm. But
you can find something else. Unless it's your industry, unless you're some, I don't know, doctor or crazy lawyer or in some industry that or role where it's needed.
Yeah.
But in general, I agree. You can definitely find something more relaxed in Sydney.
Yeah. If you look for it, it's definitely there. Whereas if you're in Asia, it's probably the anomaly. And it's an anomaly, like, to find a company that really values it. That's just based off, you know,
what we hear.
What we hear from people we know.
Yeah.
I might be generalizing, but...
Yeah. And my own experience, which might not be anyone else's, but yeah.
But overall, like, I think we must be happy because we're still here working in Sydney. I mean, I like it, and especially like the work from home flexibility. Thank
God.
In Sydney, it's actually quite for working from home. So if it's you have to come into the office, there's actually a bit more resistance. I think it is like that around all of the world. I think even Elon Musk. Did you see that?
He tried to get his workers back to work.
If you have to be in the office if you're
Yeah.
not if you're in the office for 40 hours.
Like I said, in general, having that culture to push back as workers, I think that's more common in Sydney, whereas if it was my old Hong Kong job, it would have been like, oh, okay, I guess everyone has to go back because that's what HR said, then everyone has to go back. There's not as much, people will complain, but they don't have like they don't complain in front of the bosses, or they might not do anything about it. Like nothing gets done, you know?
Yeah.
But here people will just be like, oh, you know, I'll quit or something.
Yeah. It's definitely more top down in like Asia.
Yeah.
And here I feel like it is top down, but still it is bottom up too. Like people can
have the choice right now.
Yeah. And they say they speak up. Not everyone, but there's more people speaking up, and it's almost encouraged to speak up. I mean, depending on the company, but overall, if we zoom out, yeah. So I feel really grateful to actually live in a country where you can prioritize your, you know, work-life balance. And there are so many, I think because we live in the city as well, there is lots of job opportunities and options. And actually something really interesting that I heard is that if you have a hospitality job in Sydney, even though it's really expensive to live in Sydney, you can actually like get by.
Yeah.
Because the minimum wage here in Australia is high.
Yeah. Compared to the rest of the world. Yeah. We don't have tipping system. I always say, even if you work as a checkout chick, like you'll probably be okay and be able to have a family and stuff, like, because, you know, you'll be able to pay rent, you'll be able to, but that's just us generalizing, because there's a rental crisis in Australia right now. So there are some people that are disadvantaged, but in general, we're pretty lucky
compared to the rest of the world.
Compared to like America or something.
Yeah, so I don't know if America has this, but like in Australia you have like, so the minimum wage is like $19 or something like that, 19 Australian dollars. And then on Saturday, I think it's like you get a little bit more. And then on Sunday, I think you get like $35 an hour. Yeah. So $35 an hour, like, you know, that's pretty good. You can definitely, I feel like.
You can definitely get by.
Yeah. And yeah. So I think that's a really cool thing, especially if you live on the, you know, in the suburbs and you have a hospitality job. It's fine. Like that's why I was working in hospitality for the longest time, because it's fun and, you know.
Yeah. And like, that's also how I saved up to go to France and stuff, like during uni, doing casual jobs. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it's good. So, Rox, do you currently, I already know the answer to this, but for our listeners, do you live in the city or near the city, or do you live in the suburbs?
So, right now I live in the suburbs, and I also grew up in the suburbs, but in probably like my mid-20s or early 20s, I lived near the inner city, or near like walking distance to the city, you know, like when you're growing up and you want to be close to everything. But now I'm back in the burbs.
I'm back, bitches.
And I'm back close to you as well, which is lucky. You're my like suburban buddy near this area.
Yeah, every time. Okay, so I live in the suburbs, and every time I
answered for you.
No, it's all good. Like every time I am really proud to live in the suburbs.
Yeah.
And every time I say something really, you know, proud of it, Rox, you're always like, oh, it's so nice that you
have the pride.
Yeah.
You have the pride. I'm working towards it. Because this is a new area for me too. And then I didn't grow up in this area. So, and then my own area where my parents are from, I'm also not that proud of that area. I just thought it was always a bit far from the city. There's no reason for people to go where my parents were. It's more just you know, a suburb where people live, right? Like there's no cool stuff to do around there. But I think around here, there's definitely a lot of Asian restaurants. And where I live right now, I'm walking distance to like that Chinese grocery place we got hot pot stuff at, and near a gym. So I feel pretty lucky where I am now. But yeah, it's not, I'm getting there. Because I was telling you, sometimes I feel FOMO because I still have a lot of friends who live in the inner city area, and I'm like, oh, I'm missing out on so much. Not so much, but, you know, eating out and, I don't know, going to bars and stuff. Not that I want to do that anyway. Like, I think again, I'm like, it's not that I want to do that. I just feel like it's different. Like, it's definitely different living in the burbs than living near the city.
I know what that
Do you know what I mean?
is. Yeah, because I feel that too. It's just, I don't feel it all the time, but it's really when you're out in the city and you go to a nice restaurant and like you walk, you know, after dinner, you might go to a bar or like dessert place or something, and you think, oh, how nice would it be just to
walk down the street
home?
Yeah. Yes.
Or actually, even on the weekend, I'm like, well, how nice would it be if I could just walk downstairs and walk to a local cafe and go to some like markets and walk along the Sydney Harbour. Like, there's so many nice walks in the city, or go to the museum, or go look at the shops. Like, there's so many things you can do if you're living in the city. Yeah. Whereas in the suburbs, you really need to plan everything. You got to drive out everywhere. Yeah. Firstly, so you got to time everything. Like, if you're going to have lunch, you got to make sure you got to get out. It's a little bit more
like
effort.
An hour. Yeah.
You got to think about parking. You got to think about
getting the train or parking for the train station.
Is there traffic?
Yeah.
You know.
So that was literally what I was dreading coming back to Sydney. Because I remember back in the day, like going to uni or going to work and having to drive and park near a station, but then all the parking near the station is actually 2p, like 2p is like 2 hours or something, 2 hour parking or 4p. And then it gets to like, I don't know, no, and then it gets further and further. So you end up walking like 5 blocks or like 4 blocks away. So you're driving from home, you park near the station, which is 5 blocks away from the station. You walk to the station, you catch the train to the city and do whatever you're doing, like uni or work or whatever. And then after dinner, like you said, you're like, oh shit, I got to get back to the car before I can even get home. So catch the train back to the station, walk up to the car, drive, you know, another 10, 15 minutes home. And then just that commute is like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. That is actually my work commute.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably your work commute as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it actually helps. It actually helps if you live in the burbs, so it's like cheaper rent and everything. Yeah. But also live close to the station, like walking distance to the station.
Yeah, that's good.
Then it's actually like takes that one step away.
That's good. That's good.
But we don't have, neither of us have that. We both need to drive to the station.
Yeah. Which isn't too bad because of the work from home situation. So we only I only go in to work once a week or something. I feel like it's also, on the flip side, it's also an excuse to kind of like be in my bubble. Yeah. Because, it's too far, or I don't have the car. Or, I don't know. It's just there's things it's more easy for me to say no to stuff. Not that I want to, but it's not even in the option. Like, it's not in my option to just be like, if I was in the city, hey, Julia, walk down, meet you at the cafe, let's get a drink, or I don't know, get lunch or something. That's not an option. So it helps me right now. I'm trying to focus on saving money and you know, doing other stuff with my money. So it's a good thing. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. It's like you can play that card.
Yeah.
When you're living in the burbs, like, a bit far. Yeah. Or I don't have the car, so I can't go to the station. Yeah. Whereas, like, if you're someone who's not good at saying no to your friends, then, move to the burbs.
Yeah. Because it's extra effort to get anywhere. So you need to plan ahead. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. Do you have friends that come visit you out to the burbs?
Not often, but also I haven't been a very good host.
Oh, you haven't invited anyone?
I have invited a couple people, but I think I need to become a better host. But right now, I'm not bothered.
What do you mean by better host? You mean like you just invite people?
Invite people. Like I need to just invite people. Like
do the first step.
Yeah, do the first step. Like I've invited you over, and
well, I kind of invited myself too.
But yeah, I don't know. It's just chill with you, and then I've invited a couple of other friends over, but also I think I've just been lazy. Like, yeah, I'd rather just. I'll see you at a restaurant or
yeah. I know what
but
you
we
mean.
have like I love doing. We should do barbecue. Hot pot again.
But you know when friends come visit me to the suburbs, I'm like, oh my god, thank
you for driving all the way. Yeah,
wow, friend. You know,
yeah.
Let me walk you around the block.
Yeah,
I want you to see like the area.
Yeah.
And like I'll do like a little sightseeing thing. I'll be like, this is the river, this is the walking track.
Yeah. Well, your place has that. Like
your place
the
is
river.
so nice too because Roxton is basically next to like this whole nice like reserve. So you have all these, like,
we could
birds.
do a little walk. Yeah, true. It's like it's like a little reserve.
But your balcony looks out into this green.
Yeah,
it's
true.
So nice.
Yeah. The balcony is pretty good,
and the birds and like you can see the sky.
Yeah,
the panoramic view of the sky.
It's a pretty good balcony.
It's a really good balcony.
Yeah.
So yeah, the burbs have perks like that.
It's not bad.
And also must add the Asian food. Did we already mention that? The Asian food is the best. Like people are like, hey, where's the best Korean restaurant? You know, do people say that? Like, oh, where's the best Chinese restaurant?
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, you got to come out to the burbs because like everything in the city is just overpriced and it's
kind of true. Yeah.
That good.
Yeah. It isn't. It's kind of mediocre because there's so many of them. Sometimes.
So they don't have to do. Like they don't have to try that hard.
Yeah.
And it's more like a drinking place.
Yeah.
Than like a, come for the Korean food. You know?
Yeah. I feel like with the city, or if there's a dinner in the city, we're talking pretty deep about like the social aspect of Sydney for us right now. Also, this is us right now in our early 30s. Like it's just different and post-COVID. But when there's something on in the city, like with friends, it's almost like, there's two aspects to it. One is I try to organize it so I can get there after work. So I'll go into the office that day. So it's like convenient to be from the office to the dinner and then I'll come home. Another thing is you feel a bit more inclined to dress up a little bit or something. It's just a bit more, you might be going to a nicer restaurant or something. So you feel like, and you're going to work, so you feel like you need to dress up a bit. But when you're in the burbs, like, and you're just with your partner or whatever, it's the weekend. I actually love, this is so sad, but I love like just window shopping at Westfield or just going to the mall, doing the groceries, getting my nails done at my local nails place, but my nails aren't done right now. But, and just being in very casual where like no one really knows me around here.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bump into anyone. Yeah, it feels nice. Does that make sense?
Sounds like my weekend.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
But you look like, it looks like there's some cool cafes around you.
Yeah, that's a cool thing about Sydney. So there's always a cool cafe in every suburb.
Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't found one in mine yet. Maybe because I'm not really looking. There's one across the road actually. Maybe I should check it out tomorrow.
I think there is a good one in your area. But yeah, that's one really good thing about Sydney actually. Like
coffee is amazing in Sydney.
Yeah, you'll find a good cafe pretty much. Not all of them are good, but you'll find one in every area. I basically already said this, but in every suburb.
Yeah.
It's pretty like...
Coffee in Sydney is just Aussie coffee. Okay, Melbourne might top it, but Australian coffee in general is just next level. So context, Starbucks failed in Australia. So...
It's making a comeback though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But it's just the coffee culture here is very mature and,
Sure.
you know, people have a palate for coffee and they know what they like. I don't know, because you were a barista. So what's the difference? Because why is it that, you know, say, you know, I've been to Italy or France and then also to America and like tried the different coffee. I'm just like, nothing hits home. Nothing compares. And in my mind, it's the milk here is better, or the coffee beans, or the way we make it, or the process is better. I don't know. You can answer my question.
I would say, so what coffee do you, wait, a little bit of context. I was a coffee barista for like 6 years.
Yeah. So you have the qualifications to say as well.
I can speak on this topic, and I would say I'm pretty good at making coffee. I'm pretty good at making coffee at my home as well.
Oh, okay.
In my little machine.
Oh my gosh.
I'm very proud. Anyways.
I'm not good at making coffee.
I can teach
and
you.
I'm also, even though I just sounded like a coffee snob just now, I'm also not a snob because I'm also fine with Starbucks. Like in Hong Kong, there's not much good coffee, or if it's really good, it's like $10 Aussie for a cup.
I think you are a coffee snob because you're from Sydney.
You're from Sydney.
Who has a palate for sweet drinks too? Because if you drink milk tea and all that, you're always going to like the sweet stuff from Starbucks. Like I love sweet drinks.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like the
yeah.
frappuccinos and stuff.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah.
But if you're getting like a cappuccino or like a flat white or whatever coffee, it's different. It's like, oh no, I want an Aussie standard.
It's just different. Aussie's just different. Okay, go on.
Okay, so I think the Italians like just do coffee differently. I've never been to Italy, but from what I've seen on YouTube,
you would know still.
I think they like drinking espressos.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So if you're an espresso lover, then you might like it there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whereas like the coffee culture here in Australia, it is very milk based. Like you do have your espresso drinkers, and then you've got like the macchiatos, which is an espresso with a dash of hot milk and a bit of like froth from the milk. So there's macchiatos, and then you got like a piccolo, which is the next one up. It's like a little latte glass, one shot of coffee, and it's got hot milk and a little bit of froth on the top. And then you got your flat whites, which is like a cappuccino.
I like my flat whites and lattes.
Flat whites, lattes, and then you got your cappuccino, which is like frothy and has chocolate on top. And then, I just think like if you're someone who likes drinking milky coffees.
Milky coffee, yeah.
We do the milk really well here, but it's also like the way we froth it. Every coffee machine, every cafe in Sydney has like the best espresso machine.
Okay.
They don't go like,
random frother.
Most cafes, all the good ones at least, they all have like this brand called like La Marzocco. Like they basically all have that, or another one that I don't remember the name of. It's either this one or the other one. But everyone takes their machines really seriously, and people recognize the machines too.
That's so funny that that's what it is. It's the machine.
The machine.
So
plays
it's the
a big
machine.
role.
The value in investing a good machine is how our coffee culture is like this.
I think it's also the culture of the baristas. There's a lot of baristas who are baristas like full time. As we chatted before, it goes back to the minimum wage thing. But like there are lots of baristas who do that full time, and it's a fun job. Like I did it.
Yeah.
And it's like creative and you get really into it and you want to get better and better. So that's why the coffee's so good, because you have all these baristas who are like, trying to improve their art every day.
And I think it's different in Sydney too, because say you start a new job or you're in a new area, or you always have your order, or you have that relationship, like that's my cafe that I go to every day, or whenever I go there, I always go to that cafe, or that person recognizes my name or something. It's very personal.
Yeah, it is.
So it's almost like people don't want to just go to Starbucks and go to a, big branded place. They want to have something that is theirs. Yeah. So I think that's what's special.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, you said it so right. Like it's that personalized feeling like, oh yeah, this is my go-to cafe, and you invite your friends there. And also like ties back in with like working in Sydney as well. There's actually a huge coffee culture when you're working in the office as well.
Yeah.
It is definitely like a thing, like just going to chatting about like your local, like where is good coffee.
Or getting a coffee with a colleague.
Getting a coffee together. That's like very, very normal Australian culture. I don't know if that's normal in American culture, but it's quite normal to like come to work
with a coffee.
No, like come to work at like 9 and then step out and get a coffee with like co-workers and come back.
Yeah, very common.
That's common. Whereas like, I don't know if that would be, I don't know if that's like a global thing or just an Australian thing. Okay, if you listen to this
every
episode,
time,
please DM us. Like, I'd really love to
just say hi.
Yeah,
and thank you. Thanks for listening.
And just chat. We can just have a conversation. Literally a DM away. We're always on Instagram.
Like, how did you find us? Why are you listening? What did you think?
Yeah. So
what else do you want to listen to?
You can find us on Asian Soup Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, and all the podcast channels. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you in the next one. Bye.